So to connect the ESCs, I want to make sure that I connect them to the Hoverfly Pro in the right order. And to do that, and to make sure I get it right, you got to go to the user's guide. It's on our website under support documentation, and there's a user's manual there. These diagrams show you for different configurations what the connections are to the Hoverfly Pro. Okay? I will say before you spend time connecting it up, you have to calibrate each one of your ESCs. And it's a pain in the butt. It depends on which ESCs that you have as to how difficult it's going to be. These turniges are fairly easy. You need to connect it to your receiver, the throttle output, and follow the manual as to how to calibrate the endpoints of the ESCs, but you also want to make sure that you get all of the other configurations correctly. You want to turn the brake off, and there's different configurations that you need to set it to, and those are also in the manual. But you need to calibrate and do the setup on each one of your ESCs. Now some ESCs have a programming card, a field programming card. That makes it really easy. The Castle Creations also have a software program that makes it very easy. The turniges are pretty easy. I've gone and I've set up each one of these ESCs and I've done the calibration. You don't do the calibration once it's set to the Hoverfly Pro or once it's connected. The reason for that is because the calibrations are going to require you to go to use the throttle to turn it on full throttle and then go down, and there's different ways that you move the throttle stick in order to move through the menus of the ESC programming. So you can't do that once it's connected to the Hoverfly Pro. So we've got our Hoverfly Pro, and I'm looking at the configuration. I'm going to use a plus configuration. I know it might be a little hard to see on the video, but you can follow along the manual. Plus configuration, and I've got different colors here, and these are the ESC connections. So I have to find the ESC connections on the Hoverfly Pro. You notice the USB port is here, and I'm looking on this side. So these are the ESC connections. So the way that this is faced to you right now, that's the same as you see it on the screen here. So I'm going to connect them in the order of green, yellow, orange, red, and I'm going to go up to this chart here and see what colors I have. So in order to start with the green, this is front, the orange color here. So green is the right motor. So that's this ESC over here. I'm going to take this ESC and I'm going to pass it through one of my pass-through holes. Try to keep things nice and neat here. And that green is my first ESC connection on the bottom. So I've made that connection. Now the next color is yellow, and that's the left motor. And you notice the black in the picture that you see, the black wire, the ground wire, is on the left, and then it's power and signals. So signals are on the right, and that's shown in the diagram here. The next color is orange. That's the front motor. That's this ESC right here. And then finally the back motor. Oh, well, let's do a check. Last color is red. On the diagram it's red. Okay, yeah, it is the back motor. Okay, so I've got my connections. The next thing you need to do is connect your receiver. Here's my receiver. I need to mount it to this plate, so to do that I'm going to use a little Velcro. I'm using a Spectrum system, so I've got a Spectrum AR8000. Apply the Velcro to the back. And I want to place this where it's going to be easy to connect to my receiver inputs. So let's put it like this. You can use two-sided tape or whatever you like. We switch quads a lot, so we want to make sure that we have the ability to take the receivers on and off really quickly. I'm going to take the other antenna end and pass it through one of my pass-through holes. So if you go to the last page of the manual, you'll see a receiver connection diagram, right? This is in the quick setup guide. So this describes all of the different connections from your receiver to the Hoverfly Pro. So I've got my receiver attached right here, and I've got the receiver connections on the Hoverfly Pro right here. So I've got a bunch of wires. Now these are, however you want to think of it, female to female. And so we're going to start with, first one is the throttle. And you're going to notice a pattern here. The throttle is connected to the bottom left. And once again, ground is on the left. So that's our throttle. Aileron is the next one. Aileron is the top. And that's the pattern you follow as you connect the rest of these. Then we have elevator, bottom, rudder, and then gear. Now the gear is used for our gain, and I'm going to explain that. The primary gain is what you use to fine-tune your Hoverfly Pro and your quadcopter that you've built. So depending on certain conditions, how long the booms are, how powerful your motors are, how much vibration you have in your frame, all those different things will make the gain a little different for every craft that you build and every one of you guys out there, every one of our customers. You want to start with a low gain and then work up from there. The higher the gain, the more stable it's going to be, the more adjustments that the Hoverfly Pro is making to your flight. So that's basically it. We've got our connection now from our receiver to the Hoverfly Pro. So just to recap, we've got power, we've got our ESC connections, we've got our receiver connections. I'm also going to add a little protection here, and I just used Velcro again, but this is just a plastic bowl. You see I've added our hover core sticker, and we'll just put it on like this, and I've got some Velcro straps. I'm just going to add these. That'll Velcro on there like that, and the same thing on the other side. And that protects it a little bit. One additional thing you're going to want to do is, this is the pressure sensor right here. And I'm going to lift it up so you can see that. This little silver square, about 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter, that's susceptible to light, meaning light can actually pass through that tiny hole that's used to sense the pressure, and the photons are absorbed by the silicon, and it'll change the detected value of pressure. Well, that's not good. We want it to change based on pressure, not on sunlight. So you're going to want to add a little piece of opaque foam to make it so that the sunlight can't hit that sensor directly. And with that, I'm done. This is our quad, and I'll zoom out a little bit so that you can see it.